Welcome to Uncle Karl's Crazy Real Estate Stories, where we discuss all the real deals that we are making happen in the trenches. This is no guru bullshit. This is real estate investing in the trenches, from guns to goats, lawsuits, police, and motorcycle gangs. Let the stories begin with your hosts, Uncle Karl and Stas Kostadinov.
Welcome to Uncle Karl's Crazy Real Estate Stories. We're having in the house Joe Myers and Uncle Karl and Brandon. So let's get into the interview with Joe. Can you introduce Uncle Karl, Joe, a little bit? Backstory about him.
I met Joe at a real estate meeting. We were, didn't we meet up at a real estate meeting?
In 2012, you're talking about the Millionaire Mind
Intensive. I guess we officially met. We met there at T. Harv Eckerd's or what? Yeah, things. We did that, met there, and then later it was a real estate meetup. We all went drinking. This is when I used to drink, guys. I don't drink anymore. But we went drinking afterwards. You, me, Scott, and some other people. You remember that?
Not really.
Okay, so we were all out drinking. He must have had enough to drink.
Yeah. Joe was drunk.
So we're all meeting.
I never do that.
Anyway, so we're out drinking, talking about different stuff, and we got to know each other over time. And I remember there was one deal that you were dealing with where I was talking to my attorney at the time. He said, "Hey, do you know this guy Joe Myers?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "We're getting ready to sue him." And so I called you and said, "Hey, Joe, you're getting ready to be sued." And,
so excited.
Yeah.
And then I immediately go into freak out mode because I'm representing myself in that, and then they just hired this attorney.
Yeah.
And it was like the next day.
And you went to
So
court.
what happened?
Yeah, that's a long story.
Yeah.
But that's how we met.
Yeah, we hit him. I'm telling him, "Hey, you're getting ready to get sued." Well, I saved his phone. "Hey, you're getting ready to get sued." So
No, yeah, it was. That was the deal that I've lost the most money on, I guess.
you only lost
money?
$30,000 on it.
No, I'm more at like 55 to 60 now.
Oh, okay.
Loss on it, but
Are you still losing money on it?
no, I mean, we actually live in this house now.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get some of the money back.
And then we're refinancing it. We're gonna rent it out later.
Let's tell real quick. It was a subject to, right? We'll tell real quick because I know we don't, but we're gonna go on some good stuff.
It's a long story.
Okay.
It was a subject to, and of course I got a hold of it like literally the day before the sale.
Oh man.
So, and they were still living there.
Phew.
And me being bleeding heart, Mr. Nice Guy, I to make it work, make it a win-win, I say you can stay here. You can stay here until you find a place to move to. And I spent $8,000 to reinstate the mortgage. And for months and months there, for one reason or another, they just could never find a place to move to.
Oh my God.
And I did find a place for them to move to. I had a truck lined up. They had money incentivized to move out. They didn't get hardly anything up front, aside from me reinstating the mortgage. And they were living there, and I was actually starting to renovate the property, so I had to put in more money. And then I got it in August. By November, I realized that they have no intention of moving out. So I had like 4 or 5 move out agreements with them.
What did you do?
I filed eviction on them.
Okay.
And then that's when, so it was like the day before the hearing, and that's when they had lawyered up with a guy who,
LOL.
he did it pro bono for them, and he kind of screwed me, but he got screwed too by them because they
didn't pay him.
He's pro bono.
He actually lost.
Free.
He did charge them some money.
Okay.
But he did something wrong in one of the hearings, and I got some money. I got about $1,000 out of him because of something that he did wrong. But yeah, anyway, it's a long story. So make a long story short, I filed eviction on them. They lawyered up. I won the eviction. They filed an appeal after agreeing to not file an appeal as part of a move-out agreement or as part of a settlement agreement that we had. I had lawyered up at this point as well, too. We went to the district court.
Oh, man.
And because of something that they had screwed up in our original paperwork, I was going to lose the eviction. So we settled. The settlement was I quitclaimed the house back to them.
Whoa.
And I got a deed of trust and a promissory note for the amount that I had invested in the property up to that point, which is about
$8,000.
It was, well, the money I paid them, some money I paid them, I included everything in there. The rehab I put in there, my attorney's fees, money that I had paid them as part of the settlement, even though they didn't comply with it. It was about $25,000.
Wow.
At that point, but I got a deed of trust, secured to the property. I quitclaimed the property back to them. Got a promissory deed of trust, which they were supposed to make payments over the next 2 years to pay me back. And guess what? They didn't pay me. They made one payment and they stopped. And then I went to file foreclosure on them. And then I got to hire a different attorney to represent me in the foreclosure. And we went to regular hearing. They contested it. We went to a contested hearing. I won, but they said they were not English speaking, like natural born English speakers. And so I won at the contested hearing, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't really understand what happened here. We need a translator." So we got to do the contested hearing again with a translator. I won again. Went to sale. I was kind of miffed about this because the day of the sale was the day that UNC played in Charlotte. I think it's in 2017 or 18. Okay. And I was supposed to go with Mitch invited me to go with him.
One of our partners, yeah.
And I couldn't go because I had the sale.
Yeah.
I wanted to be at the sale in case they try to pull something
happens,
which they did. They filed an appeal on the day of the sale.
Wow.
Which you're not supposed to be able to do, but they did. So we had to go to the appeal hearing. Went to that. Won again. Went to sale again. And then they filed bankruptcy on the day of the sale.
Oh, shit.
So now I get to go to bankruptcy court, hire a different attorney to represent me in bankruptcy court.
Yikes.
So we went at bankruptcy court.
You again won?
We won again. So the bankruptcy got discharged.
Okay.
Went back to the sale, and it did finally sell in December of 2018. But it went to sale over Christmas, so no one bid on it, so I ended up getting the house back.
Okay.
There were some issues with recording the deed, so I couldn't file the eviction paperwork until like 4 months later after the foreclosure. And, of course, they had just completely destroyed the house, and I had to put another $20,000 in rehab into it. So
what are the lessons? Like, basically, go ahead.
But on the flip side of that, I learned a lot
I'm sure you did.
The foreclosure process and the bankruptcy process. I mean, I was on your mastermind a couple of weeks ago talking about the bankruptcy stuff.
Yeah.
And I would never have learned half of that stuff if I hadn't
It's true.
gone through that whole process.
You know, one thing that's important is Joe took lemons. He got a lot of lemons, and he made them into lemonade because he learned some really cool stuff about foreclosures and what can be done with those. And we can't really go on the podcast about it, but it's giving us advantage to be able to work on that. So we've actually made money.
If you want to learn about it, just join our mastermind group and we can share more.
Yeah, it's only $105 a month. It's 4 Zoom meetings. We've got a Facebook group. It's badass. You can learn a lot of. We go into details where Joe broke down this and some of the cool stuff that we've actually learned some things that we can't really say here that are making us a ton of money in the foreclosure and the bankruptcy arena, which we share in.
Do you know what I found out? Brandon had a fucked up house that he lives in now. Joe has one. What's up with that?
When are you getting your fucked up house?
I think I'm gonna start looking for that shit.
I mean, you go into it as an investment, and you're like, okay, well, it's not gonna work as an investment anymore. Like, I might as well live in it because you know.
Right.
The house you live in is not an asset; it's a liability because it takes money out of your pocket.
It's true.
So here's the thing: is we've had some problems, and I've had some lawsuits, which I've all won and turned out really good. But there's going to be problems like this, and you got to take the lemons from these problems, learn, and keep moving. Yeah. Don't give up, because now, like since then, let's talk about the property on. Can we say Middlebury? Okay. Let's talk about the property
we
on.
We weren't using names for properties.
This property.
It's okay. We already sold that one. So.
Okay, so what happened on this one? I remember I was talking to Joe. And this
was actually the first deal that we did together.
No, we actually did the one on the other place before that.
No, this was the first one.
No, Arden, remember?
Oh yeah, but that was from like.
That one doesn't count.
That one doesn't count. Actually, we got Middlebury. We were rehabbing Middlebury before.
Oh yeah.
We got into Arden, but Arden was something I don't know.
We'll go into that, but hey, this is
you
what
talk
happened.
about what you want to talk about.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. But this some important stuff. What happened was Joe called me up, and I was going through Chapel Hill. And he said,
No. I met you at the country club.
Oh, to drink beer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're drinking beer.
We're at the bar.
At the bar.
How many people have you met at the country club, Karl?
Ton of people.
people,
Now it's called Midwood Country Club. My buddy Warren owns the place. It's actually a sort of a little bit of a dive bar. It's a great place.
It's not actually a country
It's not
club.
a country club. They call it Midwood Country Club. But I tell people, I said, hey, let's meet at the country club for drinks. And they're like, well, what's the dress attire? And they're like, you asked that.
I asked you that.
You asked that. And I said,
I thought it was going to be on a golf course when I first met you. And then I walked in, and it's not a golf course.
not a golf. It's a nice
Yeah,
bar.
man, he was always talking about drinking at the country club, and I thought he was like hot shit. Like, he was rolling in the country club. And,
Members
you know,
only.
It is members only, but anyways. So we're sitting there drinking at the country club, okay?
Yeah, and I remember it was like it was the day before Father's Day.
Yep.
And I was working on I was working on with my foreclosure stuff, and we had this one where it looked like a really good deal, and we for some reason or another I found out that the owner lived in Winston-Salem.
Okay.
And you said that you had mentioned previously in the conversation that you were driving to Chapel Hill the next day.
Yep.
To visit your father for Father's Day.
Well, actually, no,
Or
it's
your
my
family,
family, yeah.
Your
My
family
son was, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, Winston-Salem's on the way to Chapel Hill. So, hey, can you go knock on this lady's door? And you ended up spending all day
Yeah, I drove up.
running around, knocking on like a bunch of doors trying to find this lady.
Well, I end up, so I go, this is important. This is how we get the deals. We'll go drive, we'll knock on doors, we'll make the phone calls, we'll do other things like most investors are lazy motherfuckers and they won't do shit. So I went up, knocked on the door, and the people the guy came to the door and I said, I'm looking for so-and-so. She's got this property, we're going to help her in foreclosure. He goes, well, that's my daughter. You want to come in? So I came in and we talked for a long time.
Right.
And she was supposedly on the way back. So I said, won't you hang out? And, so I ended up going to getting some lunch and dinner and spent like 5 or 6 hours waiting for her, and she never came back.
Oh, fuck.
But I ended up getting her phone number. So it's like, okay, we got her phone number. So I can't remember what we did after that. We called.
You ended up you asked me for some other addresses, and I was trying to figure out how to, because we all know that you're like great with technology and stuff. Like I was trying to figure out how to send you a route for you to like go around and knock at all these doors. And you went to some other houses and eventually got a hold of her. Like there were some cousins or something that you got a hold of. But I don't know, it's just you got a hold of them and you like kind of negotiated the deal.
Yeah, well, we ended up getting, it was like a brother or something, and then I negotiated with him because she had strokes. Mm-hmm. So we're negotiating through the brother with her, and then we ended up, I think we came close to a deal, okay? And then I think, did you go up there, or did Naya?
Oh, so Mitch was supposed to go up there.
Right.
Mitch was going to go up there and get the contract signed. You had pretty much agreed with them on terms and everything, and Mitch was going to go up there, and when he was going to leave, he found out that his daughter had grabbed his keys.
Yep, I remember.
So he needed a ride. So I went and picked up Mitch in my crappy minivan, and we drove up to Winston-Salem to negotiate to get the contract signed and stuff. And we got there, and it wasn't just her. There was like 10 people in that room. And when we were negotiating with her, we were negotiating with all of them at the same time, even though they had already agreed to the terms of how we were going to purchase the property. And we were probably there like hour and a half before we came to terms with all 10 of them to sign the paperwork and stuff. But the property, like I guess the details of the property, the deal was there was a first mortgage that was actually in the redemption period. It was in the bidding period. So
basically, North Carolina had been sold, but you have a 10-day right which it can be bid on again, or you can redeem the property. Okay.
Yeah. So it was in the redemption period. So it had already gone to sale. People were bidding on it. It could have been redeemed. So there's that, and then there was a home equity line of credit on it. Second. So what we did was we had to pay off the first. We got a private money lender. We paid off the first at closing. She got some money, and then we took over making the payments on the second.
Wasn't there a third also?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm remembering. Okay, so
they all run together after a while. Yeah, I know.
So that's great. So that's smart. What we did, we paid off the first, and then we let the second stay there and kept making payments on it. So we didn't have to come up with as much money.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a nice house when we were done with it. We rehabbed it. I was unfortunately the project manager on the rehab, and it just
Joe does not manage projects again for us.
I think we had like a $30,000 budget. We ended up spending like $55,000.
Yeah.
And we didn't make as much money as we
still netted $45,000
between the three of us. Yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't bad, But
it was a good learning experience.
Yes, but it was great. So what the lesson here is knock on the doors. We worked out the deal, and then they had to go back and negotiate with 10 people. But we got it done, and we were able to pay off the first, take over the second, and work through some problems. But it was a $45,000 profit.
Not bad, I mean.
So we did that deal, and then while we're doing that deal, it turned out there's another house which we had under contract. That was Arden.
Yeah, I had that property under contract from like 2015.
About 4 years, yeah.
Or 16. Yeah. So anyway, what happened was this guy. It was an air situation. This is before I like really knew how to like do the Uncle Karl cash for deed type thing. So I had a contract, and when I turned it over to the attorney, they were like, "Well, what had happened was it was the mom's house. She died. There were 3 kids.
Okay.
One of the kids had huge judgments against her. Like she got a car and never paid it, had some credit card debt, and had some judgments against her. But so she had quit claimed her interest to one of the other siblings, to the daughter. So I was talking to the son and the daughter. Well, the son lived in the house, the daughter lived in Atlanta, but she was like the kind of person in charge of taking care of the mom's estate and stuff. Well,
right.
They didn't really take care of it, but she had the paperwork. And she had a majority interest.
Okay.
But I was talking to the brother. Now, the brother wanted to move his kids were in California. He wanted to move to California. So I saw this problem. How is he going to, once he sells a house, he doesn't have somewhere to go. I was like, why don't we take your proceeds and get like an RV or something, and you can like have a road trip across the country. He loved that idea. Wow. I was like on Craigslist, like looking for campers and stuff when we were like originally negotiating this. But what happened was the title, even though the other daughter had quit claimed her interest to the other one, those judgments were still attached to the property. So I gave them 3 options, pretty much. One, we can take it over subject to that stuff. But you're not going to get, what you're originally. I think my original contract was like $22,000, and there was like $15,000 in judgments. So they were thinking they had that money in their mind. They had it in their pocket. And they already spent it in their mind. They didn't want to take a discount on it. Number 2, I said you can hire an attorney and try and fight it and try and get it, released or whatever. They didn't like the idea of that. And then number 3 was we can just wait the 2 or 3 years until you have a clear title, and we'll do close this out then. So that's what they decided to do.
To wait.
Well, in the meantime, the brother that lived there was going around shopping this house to everyone that could possibly talk to him about it. And he probably, I had other people like shopping it out. And
our buddy Kevin NG had it under contract too.
Man, who didn't have it under contract?
So the thing is, did you record anything against it?
I did. I recorded the memorandum.
Okay.
But that was in the time when the title insurance companies, unless you had the seller's signature notarized, they would close over it.
Okay.
Notarized and recorded.
Right.
So I had recorded the contract and stuff, thinking it would help, save it, but at the time it didn't. So I think one of your joint venture partners got a hold of this after the title stuff had cleared. Like I was calling him, and I was like, I remember like sitting on his front porch drinking 40s and stuff with him when I got the stuff like originally signed, and like he was like dodging my phone calls and he wouldn't like answer the door for me and stuff after it had cleared. So he had signed a contract with one of Karl's joint venture partners at the time.
Yeah, we had showed this. What we were doing, so how we found it, we were driving through, and the house looked really run down. We did see a little lockbox on it, so we're like, it's probably someone else got a contract or trying to sell it. But we noticed it really run down, and we did the skip tracing. Anyways, long story, we put it under contract too, and then we started to going through the closings, And then we pulled up and we saw Joe's memorandum of contract. Now, this is why we're renovating the house with Joe. On the other one, we're like, oh, my God, Joe's got a contract. What are we going to do with this? So I guess, we called Joe and said, hey, you got this house under contract when we've got under contract.
Well, Mitch tried to strong arm me a little bit. I was like...
Oh, we did. We called 2 attorneys. Okay, this is what we did. Okay, this is. We called 2 attorneys and said, look, his contract's not valid. It's past the time. It's not enforceable. The two attorneys told us that.
Yeah, they totally could have closed over it, no
right.
problem. In fact, well, what we ended up doing is we partnered on it because I had all the title work from before. Like there was a will and a trust and all this stuff that the sister in Atlanta had given me. I mean, you could have gotten it from her. It wouldn't. I mean, really
I think what we did, I think we told Joe. I think Mitch called him up and said, "Hey, Joe, we're just going to close over you. Your contract's not valid anymore." I think we let him sit one day, and then we called up and said, "Hey, why don't we just all do this together and partner with it?" I think is that what happened?
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much.
Essentially what happened.
That happened. So we decided to first we wanted to like slam them, down, saying
so you thought you were going to lose it, but then they reeled you back in with that offer.
I mean, it put me in a tough position because we had this other deal going together.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like working on other stuff together too. So I'm like,
what the hell's going on?
But here's we ended up partnering on it, and Mitch found someone to pay a ridiculous amount. That house was about to fall over. It was in such like you walked in and like the subfloor was like leaning down. It like went down into the ground. Like it was so bad.
Well, we sold it for $50. I think we made.
I think 55.
It was 50. I looked at it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
We sold it for 50. And those people renovated and sold it for $280.
They must have.
They rebuilt the whole thing.
They must have rebuilt the entire house.
The whole area was coming up at the time.
Yeah.
But so we basically wholesaled it off. I think we made about, was it 32 on that one? I don't remember the exact numbers.
I think I made about 7, but that was a
four-way split and stuff.
But the thing about it was, I made more money doing it that way with you guys than I would have made originally because the neighborhood had come up quite a bit since like the couple years ago when I had it in a contract. So, but any other investor in Charlotte, I know for a fact, would not have partnered with me on it, quote unquote, partnered with me on it.
Yeah.
They would have just closed right over my thing. In fact, we did the closing not with our main attorney, with the guy that had done the title work for me originally when I tried to close it a couple years ago, and I recorded another memorandum like notarized with my signature and stuff like a couple days before the closing, and they didn't care.
Yeah,
I had to have the seller's notarized signature on it for it to stop the sale.
I think
to have the title cloud. Those rules have changed since then. I mean, it's not really about what's legal or not legal. I mean, you want everything to be legal, of course, but it's more about what the title insurance company will insure on.
Yeah.
If you get insurance and you got some funky stuff going on, as long as you get the insurance, who cares?
Yeah, right.
And it's on the insurance company at that point to.
But what was great was we sat down and we came up with a solution and we worked together. And I think we're all about the long-term relationship with everybody and making sure that. So then you come aboard and we're working. You're doing a lot of great stuff in the foreclosure. Joe has this whole crazy thing, right, Brand? This whole foreclosure stuff where he's tracking every single foreclosure. If they go bankrupt, automatically getting the bids in, and it's a badass system that you put together.
Let's just put it this way: if he were to add a subscription service to it, he could probably retire on just his subscription service.
Sometimes I go down to the courthouse and there'll be like people in there, like I call it like the lost bunny look in their eye. Like they go in there and there's like looking around and they just need like one little thing. And they ask the clerk, like especially with like the real estate stuff, like they'll ask the clerk like, how do I find foreclosures? Or they're looking for something specific. Like they saw a property went to auction on Zillow, and they're like trying to find out how they can buy it, and they just have no idea what they're doing. And the clerk's like telling them go to the Register of Deeds or something, and I'll like, so like I'll help them. Like get the one little thing that they're looking for.
Because the clerk's not going to do it.
No.
We all know they love their jobs so much.
They love it.
Oh, I hope they don't listen.
Yeah.
I love the clerks. It's a very difficult job. I don't envy them, their job for nothing.
Yeah.
Anything I can do to help them out.
But he's got this great system. So we bought.
So the point was like I was like down there and like they're like looking for something to spit it on. I'm like, okay, what's the property address? Plop it in, and I pull up like all the information about it, like everything that's happened with it. And I'm like, okay, this is the file number. This is what you're looking for. Go fill out that. Go get your thing. And they're like, where do you get that? I'm like, it's mine. I built it. You can't have it.
And we're going to take Joe's going to take this system and we're going to put it in for other markets too, because now you've got it built out for tracking everything. I mean, it's amazing for knowing the upset bids, the hearing stuff. So I mean,
it's a phenomenal system. I mean, we have used it for how long now, Joe? Like 3 weeks, and we haven't even really used it.
Yeah, I had to fix something, and
we've already got 2 deals from it.
Yeah.
I mean, and these are 6-figure deals, both of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a phenomenal system.
See, foreclosures are great, and Joe's built this incredible system that we're gonna. If you guys are interested, Joe, share your number. I mean, not that. Okay, don't share your number. But anyways,
find me on Facebook and send me a message.
Send them a message. Facebook, Joe Myers. Okay.
I've put a lot of work into like people not having my number.
Oh, okay.
So we won't get all these random then they sell the numbers to like these spammers or whatever.
Yeah.
Joe's the guy that has his vehicle in a trust.
Hey, tell us about. I know this office, but what's the name of the trust that your truck's in? Or you can't say it. Okay.
We're not going to say that.
That's the point of having it in a trust, so people don't know about it.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't go there. But anyways.
But the DMV will accept vehicles in trust.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Pretty cool.
Well, it sounds like a government agency, all right?
I want to add one quick tiny little gold nugget here. So today, and this is verified with our local attorney here, I used a trust to be the trustee for another trust.
That's badass.
Yes, very badass. Of course, you're going to want to verify that with your local attorney. But
yeah, that even keeps it more anonymous.
It's like 3 levels of protection there.
Now, tell us about these 2 deals, your new system you got. Now, these foreclosures, we've been killing the foreclosures. There's been a $90,000 deal. There's some big deals. Tell us about the one on the flower. I can't say the first part of it.
Yeah. What about it?
So
so here's how the system works. We're kind of fortunate here because there's like companies that will like go down to the courthouse and they'll like, I get a spreadsheet every day of the new filed foreclosures and all the auctions and upsets in 2 separate spreadsheets. And I hired a programmer to like pretty much take those and index them into the files to kind of keep track of that automatically. And then what I built on top of that is it's like a payoff calculator. For those of you that are into spreadsheets and stuff, it's a present value. It pretty much figures out the present value of a loan based off of when the loan was originated and the origination amount. And I have a thing that goes in there, kind of figures out the interest rate on it to figure out the payoff. Also, when they got the foreclosure filed on it. So I take that and I linked also the system into Zillow's API, and I know alarms going off in their head. Zillow values suck. Well, we're trying to figure out ways to automate it, and Zillow is the only service that has a good API to link into. Yeah. So we get the value, we get the payoff, our estimated payoff, and then we're just looking for equity. We're looking for the most amount of equity, and it's just an educated guess. It's not exact,
but they're very accurate.
It's pretty close.
The 2 deals that we have, the reinstatements, were almost right on the money.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
within a couple $100. Yeah,
pretty impressive, definitely.
Yeah. But so this one deal, you ended up, I guess the person, we skip traced them. They were deceased. Is that correct?
So kind of the process is, I'm going in and doing like a quick title check, just to make sure it's not before I started work with you guys, I was working with another guy, kind of doing the same thing where we were going after properties that were in redemption period, get it from the seller, and then like literally resell it to the people who were bidding on it.
Yeah.
And we were just looking for spreads, and I was tracking a lot of the foreclosure, the auctions, and it just amazed me how many people did not check the title before they go bid on property. And because they got to put down a 5% bid on like a $200,000 property. I mean, they're putting up thousands of dollars, and they didn't know if they were bidding on a first or if it was a junior lien that was foreclosing.
Yeah.
Sometimes there were sheriff sales, tax sales, we assume that there's no mortgage, but there's certain kinds of mortgages that don't require the taxes to be escrowed. So there could be, loans out there with tax foreclosures. So anyway, long story short, I do a little quick title search, just to make sure that it is a first foreclosing, or if it is a second, I kind of figure out the payoff on the first, based off of that. Anyway, so we're making sure that there's nothing funky going on there, and then we skip trace them. I don't remember.
And then the person was deceased, correct? The owner was dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So then you guys just found they're dead, and there was a husband that never been divorced.
Yeah, because the deed had
yeah.
said the lady's name, and
Yeah.
but then it said, and she was married, but it didn't say the gentleman's name. So then we skipped trace, and we reached out to the old man, and he was more than happy to work with us.
Yeah.
And then
So I'll do the preliminary title check just to check for funky stuff. But if I see something weird, in the documents, I'll make a note for Brandon when he's making the phone calls. And that was what that one was. That
Yep. Exactly.
when I was going in the skip tracing thing, and I saw that he lived in another state. He had lived there for a long time, since before this property had been purchased by his wife.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really weird.
With the system, it was almost like it was just spoon fed to me. It was so easy. Everything was so easy with it. He had written notes in there about different things that he had saw. One being that she's married and he's here in such and such state, and there was even numbers and everything in there. I mean, phenomenal.
it was great. And then Brandon called, made the deal, and now we what we invested in that property? Like $500?
No, we're zero.
$0 invested. He deeded it to us, and we're going to give him money when.
Yep, because we did the partnership agreement.
Yeah.
together,
You got a couple $100 in notary and
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
traveling
yeah.
notary and
I paid a
overnight the DE.
Yeah,
back.
I paid overnight via UPS and
What's great
About
is
$200 into the deal
for
probably.
the notary.
So what's
yeah.
great is we went and we partnered with them, so we have no money invested again. We're 50-50 partners in this deal, and then we're going to go ahead and I guess fix it up. And there's some other little issues with someone still staying there. We got to get moved out.
So the mortgage I think is about what 90,000. I mean it's under 100,000, and the house I think we comped at about 220, right, Joe?
Yeah.
It's a nice house, nice neighborhood.
It's a six-figure deal.
Six-figure deal because of Joe's incredible building this system out for the foreclosures and tracking everything. Brandon getting on there, bonding the guy, setting the table, explaining what went on, and getting that. So, guys, I guess we got to wrap it.
Having these systems in place is so important to get these high figure deals. It's inevitable to get them so fast, and
Yeah.
But how long Joe has built this system for? I don't know how long have
Months.
you spent? Months and months and months building it.
I was doing, like I mentioned before, I was doing something similar with another guy that I worked with for a while, and so that was 2, 3. I've probably been working on this for 3 years.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight.
But using it over time and improving it, and it's
plus, your experience with your house, bankruptcies, all that stuff that you learned. That's how you
Joe's like an attorney, so every time I have an attorney question, and consult a real attorney, everybody in listener land.
I'm not actually an attorney.
He's not, but his knowledge base is that of an attorney. So every time I have a question, I mean, it's almost always
Joe.
Can you tell
me
a Joe
this?
question?
and occasionally I am wrong, and occasionally I make mistakes. I actually, I bought a house. It was an estate property. There was a first and a second. It was actually the second that was foreclosing, and it had gone to sale, and it had been an upset period for 4 or 5 months, because it was the people who were bidding on it thought it was the first, and it was really the second. So the house was worth $220, and it went to sale for $11,000, and people thought it was an amazing deal, but not realizing that there was another mortgage on the property. And so I tracked down, this lady had a will that was recorded by her brother, and the will was crazy. It set up this crazy trust, and it named her like cousins' kids, whoever they may be, as the heirs.
Gee.
So I tracked them down, and I got deeds from them, and I paid them for these deeds.
Yeah.
When we were in Colorado, I was like talking with one of them when we were walking through
Yeah.
town or whatever. Like we were on like a vacation. I was like getting cash for deeds, and
The best way to spend vacation time, you know.
yeah. So, but I paid them like money for deeds,
Uh-huh.
and it turns out that they weren't even really the heirs of the property because the will was never probated. It was really the heirs at law in that case.
My God.
So I gave money to people that weren't even the heirs.
But
of the
he
property.
got the deal done, and you know we've got some really good attorneys too that we work with, you know, to help us out. But
Yeah, sure.
But I know we got to wrap it up here. But again, Joe's built this incredible thing with the foreclosures, tracking everything. We got a great system, and you know, working together. We've got, you know, like Brandon's great in certain areas. Joe's great, and again, when we put our fists together. It's Wonder triplets activate, Wonder twins activate, and we're badass motherfuckers.
Can we go with the Captain Planet analogy?
Captain Planet. Okay, do a Captain Planet analogy. Okay.
We got our power rings.
Power rings. Okay. But it's
yeah, but like you guys said, like that foreclosure system I made is not really for sale, but I do have some resources if people want them. I don't know if you have a way to distribute something like that, or
yeah, well, reach out. I'll give you my phone number. It's 704-995-5385, 704-995-5385. Text me, and you know,
and he won't return your text until like 2 weeks later.
Just
maybe,
text
if you're
me.
lucky.
text Stas. Stas, what's your number?
980-210-7715. I respond to my messages.
Yeah, I tried
Okay,
to.
how about this? Message me on Facebook.
Yeah.
My profile is
Joe Myers.
Joe Myers ROI, like return on investment. Like you go do facebook.com/Joe Myers ROI, you'll find me. Shoot me a message. I have that payoff calculator that I made. I have a spreadsheet version of it that I can give you, and also I made like a one-pager. You know, this is how the foreclosure process works. Now it's for North Carolina, but you know most states are generally pretty much the same way.
Right. Again, guys, we have a mastermind group, $105 a month. 4 Zoom meetings, Facebook, where Joe shared some really in-depth stuff in that. We have, and it's a great way to learn. What else? We've got some turnkey rentals. We got other stuff coming soon, but I don't even know.
Skip tracing, guys. Skip tracing
bulk,
and
bulk
also
skip tracing and data. We got some great deals on data. We've got really good data, and so reach out to Stas because I probably won't return your text.
Yeah, so our data is maybe we made a deal with one of the biggest companies out there for data providing, and we will be selling that data, and will be really inexpensive, and it will be one of the best data out there. So reach out.
What's your phone number?
980-210-7715. You can also find me on Facebook. So
who are you?
Stas Kostadinov, if nobody knows me.
Say that last name again.
How do you say that last name?
Kostadinov.
Where the hell are you from, man?
Fucking Bulgaria.
Okay.
Stas, a.k.a. the foreign guy.
But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you have anything else?
No, you know, it's like I'm so happy to have Joe with us. He makes a huge difference, huge impact on our business. The knowledge, the stuff he puts together, you know, and us working together with our strengths is, you know, one thing I will tell you guys is don't have two people that are in the same area of strength. You have different areas. And then again, you do the Captain Planet rings unite, and all of a sudden
you collaborate and you become strong.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So
why can't we be the Three Musketeers?
Three Musketeers.
As opposed to, well, I don't know what this Planet Ring thing is.
I don't know.
You didn't watch Captain Planet as a kid?
No.
What's wrong with you?
Man, I was born in late 80s.
Incomplete childhood is what that is.
Well, thanks for listening, guys, and see you in the next one.
All right, thanks.